Welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to dive into Section 5, AI Content Workflows. So again, our goal in thinking about how do we lead with AI in our communications, simple. But simple is not always easy. That's why you're here. Simple takes thought. But the simpler you can keep things, the more they scale and the more they sell. If you sell this as a service, or if you want to make more profit in your business from everything you do regarding marketing. So when we think about this, we also want to think about scale without breaking. How do we do this without things falling apart, crashing? And the good news is because we're relying on machines to scale instead of humans, that alone brings up the scalability so much. So the perfect AI workflow for your communications and your marketing is to have, first of all, AI doing the heavy lifting. So for me, AI is my book copywriter. AI is my filming. I've got a clone that says all the things I need to say. And then the human guides this strategy. That's hard to remove at this point. Even with agentic behavior controlling a lot of human functions, you still want a human guiding the strategy because that's when quality stays high, which is the third point. A human driving an overall brand strategy has a human touch, and that's hard for the machine to fully replace. And then you want to think about multiple outputs. How do we multiply where we are? So the flywheel to think about when it comes to scaling content is to first of all plan, then create. Never create without a plan. Then scale. Then you're going to analyze what's working and you're going to improve. Double down on what's working. I had a tweet that had thousands and thousands of impressions. Do you know how many times I've recycled that tweet? Twice, and we're going to keep going. It doesn't matter if it feels boring. What you want to do is double down on what's working. I talk on the same topic every day on X, AI and AGI. I don't stray. When I tried to talk about entrepreneurship, productivity, everything went down. You want to double down on what's working and forget the shiny and the flashy. Boring, repetitive to you might be exactly what your audience wants. And it might not be boring and repetitive at all because you've got something really important. By being at this point, just by being here at this point in our course, you have training data that is incredible to guide Claude GPTs to become really great human writer replacements, human writer amplifiers for you. So a great way to think about this is to think about your content week just being 4 hours and to get it down even from there. 1 hour on strategy and planning total, 2 hours on creation and refinement with AI, and then 1 hour on distribution and analysis. If AI is doing all the heavy lifting, that's how you can still produce dozens per week or month with just 4 hours a week, which is what we're doing. And we're doing 70 pieces a month at First Movers, 70 pieces of content with a 4 hour content week. And it's good content. So your AI content stack, you should have a primary LLM or two. I don't recommend a ton. You don't need a ton. You really just need the leading ones. Claude and ChatGPT, like we've gone over, are great for various reasons. You need a training database. How are you going to guide Claude and ChatGPT on what good content looks like? You need a content calendar and you need publishing tools. You can keep that really simple. It could be a Google spreadsheet or it could be automations to trigger that content to be published. Those automations, we actually do that and sell that in our First Movers integrations with agentic workflows. So if that's something you need where Claude, I always recommend you as the human are driving the content creation, looking at that content, approving it, but publishing can be fully automated with agentic workflows. So if that's something you need, reach out to us. Publishing tools. Do you need these? Do you need an auto scheduler? I'll tell you, we don't have any. In my work at First Movers, we do not have any. I think publishing tools definitely do affect your reach. If you're using Buffer, for example, instead of directly posting to X or LinkedIn. So consider that, right? Being the CEO and somebody that loves content, I publish all my content because Claude makes it so simple, and I love the process of opening Claude and creating a beautiful post with my viral training script. And I like to copy and paste and publish because I do little tiny edits that matter a lot. And so for me, I don't have that automated on purpose because I like to add in some personal touches. I'm the person ultimately responsible for the success of that content. Okay, so for example, here's a good creation flow for a Monday, let's just say. One thing I like to do is batch out my days. So Monday is content day, and then I don't have to touch content the rest of the week. I know exactly what's going out. I've got 25 tweets batched out in my drafts on my X. It's all on mobile. I try to do as much as I can on this mobile device, which saves you a ton of time. If you're out with the kids, out shopping, you literally can hit publish or open Claude and take advantage of a moment of inspiration when you're out walking, right? So think adaptable here, think agile, think fluid. If you have a flow on Monday, this is definitely something at the desk. You're picking out your core topics. AI is generating the articles. You're looking at those articles. You're adapting to the platforms. We talked about this in another lesson. And then you're batch scheduling. You're designing the schedule on which those go out. For our topics, they're very seasonal, right? We're talking about AI as it breaks the news. And so we don't really do batch scheduling because I'm on that news every single day. That's part of our job as a company. But if I was selling products, I would definitely adapt to seasons. Which sweaters are we going to sell this fall? Think about that in January. Have planning going on for your entire year as much as possible and get batched styles of thinking down. That will really help you. A 3-step review process. Do a voice check. Does this sound like us? Does this actually sound like our brand? If you're a personal author, it's coming from you. Does this sound like me? That's the number one check I have on all of our content. Does this actually sound like Julia? Number 2, fact verification. This is super important, especially on platforms like LinkedIn and then blog posts. You really want your facts dialed in, otherwise you will get called out. And then number 3, do a pass through, make some enhancements, make it sound a little cooler, make it sound better. I add in facts about AGI or what the CEO of Microsoft said. That's an enhancement to that piece of content. But you shouldn't do more than that. Don't overdo it. Get that content out. So here's a great template for your weekly content. Twitter, you want to do at least 1 a day, 2 a day is even better. LinkedIn, you don't have to go hard. I find that 2 posts a week, plenty. Sometimes I do 1 a week. 1 long form piece, that could drive a ton of different pieces of content. If you've got 1 blog a week going out on your site, excellent. You can do a lot more, especially with our SEO GPT. You can knock out content all day. And then you want to think about daily engagement. So for me, that's actually on Facebook, where I'm always talking about what we're doing, whether it's building a new clone, testing something, doing something with clients, or I have a point of controversy about an LLM from China. Engagement, that's what that's for. Top of mind. You want to be top of mind for people. Here's some sweet spots. Whenever you're thinking, okay, what can automation fully take over? First drafts, automation can fully take over. You should never be first drafting anything yourself. Content variations, automation. Changes for LinkedIn. Shorten this for Instagram. AI is great at that. Platform adaptions, the same thing, right? Vary this up for, if you were back to the variation of a content piece, change this up for, take the sales page, turn it into tweets. Take my video script, make a 2-second Instagram reel script. So AI is excellent at all of that. Response templates. How am I going to respond to this client? This is a tricky situation. How am I going to onboard a new client? Here's a product I have, create an onboarding form. These are sweet spots for automation. What you'll get will blow your mind. I had AI create a full onboarding form for a whole new product, and what came out was absolutely amazing. It was the most perfect product form I've ever seen. I didn't have to touch it. I didn't have to edit anything, and all I did was feed it our product description. Okay, now make an onboarding form. Beautiful. So what you should still control is the strategic direction of everything. Don't hand this off to AI. You should be the director of your own content and your own marketing. But you need to also give up the meat, the heavy work to AI, and then be the final word of approval. Okay, this looks good. Let's get it out. Community engagement. You should control that as well. It's always me answering comments, and sometimes I get hundreds of comments a day. But you know what? I'm also picking what comments I don't care about. And I'll tell you the comments I don't care about. YouTube comments. I drive a ton of engagement on YouTube, hundreds of comments per video. I don't care to respond to all of them. I don't even respond to half. In fact, I don't even respond to a tenth. It's a waste of time. Are those my clients? No. Is that a lot of peanut gallery? Yes. And this is actually taking a note out of top YouTubers. If you look at their comments, they do not reply. So you should control your level of engagement. If it's a tight-knit Facebook group, if it's a LinkedIn post, if it's a Facebook post, Instagram post, you should be replying to those people. Those people are your fans and your clients, potentially. If you haven't sold anything yet, or if you do sell things, goes both ways. You want to nurture those people. And then always analyze your performance, but not just hits and viral spikes and thousands of views. Where do your clients actually come from? I'm actually spending less time on Facebook. It's my highest engagement platform, but it is where a lot of complainers come from. Complaining clients that want a lot for a little bit of money. Guess where our best clients come from? YouTube. And YouTube, incidentally, is my most automated channel. It's a clone filming. I don't engage in the comments hardly at all. Claude writes all the descriptions. Claude writes the titles. A designer uses AI to make the thumbnails. I've automated and delegated the whole thing. And it is my most profitable channel. So you can get there too. Think in terms of the ROI. Where's the money come from? Always, not the views. Your optimization loop should look like this. You're going to track your content, you're going to analyze it, you're going to adjust, and you're going to improve, right? And if you ask that one question, where do our clients come from? You won't go wrong. Where's this bump in revenue coming from? This best client we have, where'd they find me? LinkedIn? Let's appeal to more of these people. When you build your workflow, you want to choose your tools. We talked about LLMs. 1 or 2 is all you need. Set a schedule. We talked about batching, right? Monday being content day. Create templates. Have AI do this. I have Claude creating templates for everything, even to guide my team. And then establish your checkpoints. Where are you going to be? Are you going to generate it in Claude? Are you going to review it before it goes out? Are you going to hand that off to a writer or somebody on your team? Everything can be set and scheduled, planned out, so that you eliminate a lot of time waste. These are the red flags. You don't want these things happening on your watch. You don't want inconsistent quality, a post that's great, a post that's terrible. And if you have human checkpoints set up, that won't happen, right? Whether it's you or a writer. The blog, I don't even look at anymore. I literally don't look at it. I don't read the blog. I don't look at the topics at all. We have a great process and a great writer that knows our style so much that I trust her completely to take over that whole channel. Not X. Everything that goes on X, I'm posting myself because it's such a highly personal, highly authority-building channel, real time, and you can't fake that. I'm not saying that the blog is fake. I'm saying that it's a totally different medium, and you want that consistent quality. You want to represent yourself. An article, you can shell out, template, and delegate a lot more than a short X post that has to relay your mission, purpose, values, how you're going to bring in clients, all of that. You don't want to slow down publishing. This is when you're using AI wrong completely. If it's adding more time, it should be freeing up hours and hours and hours. And then you don't want your engagement going down, right? We talked about third-party tools. That's why either agentic workflows, which are custom-built agents triggering actions. Like I'm talking, imagine a little AI. Imagine I'm a little robot here sitting in my chair and I'm hitting publish for you on your content. That's what an agent does. So it bypasses Buffer and all these third-party tools. Not that they're bad, but they can limit your reach. So those are the red flags to watch for. These are signs of success. Your output is going up, but most of all, it's consistent. It doesn't have to 25x overnight, but it does need to be consistent. If it's 1 blog a week, awesome. If it's 20 blogs a week, awesome. You're maintaining quality. You're proud of this content. Every time you look at it, you're like, heck yeah. It's the best content you've ever published. That's when you're doing it right. You're saving time and you're growing your engagement. You're not losing, you're gaining. All right, we talked about how whenever I started putting AI at the forefront of our communication and marketing at First Movers and my own profiles, I had a 9,900% engagement increase as opposed to 10 years of doing this all humanly. It was insane. When I trained a Claude project and I could open it up at any time and say, write a killer X post, when we had a GPT trained on how to write SEO blogs, when we had a dialed in digital clone of me, a professional voice clone that sounded just like me, we had tools at our disposal that allowed us to scale quickly, save tons of time, but also really grow that engagement. And then my hand is on every part of the process, right? So it's me writing the video scripts with Claude. It's me getting down into the news of everything. One of the recent YouTube videos that we did, I involved an expert, and I actually went and interviewed this person and spent time with them over email back and forth. They sent me screenshots. I sent that to the producer, and we layered that on top of what the clone narrated, which I wrote. That took time. We didn't do that in 2 minutes, but that's what created quality. So you want to think about it as a balance. How can AI replace me? I don't have to film anymore. I don't have to write anymore. I don't have to generate thoughts that take a lot of time to then turn them into those written pieces anymore. And I'm not filming anymore at all. I'm not writing books anymore, but the quality is there. And maybe I'm spending an hour interviewing an expert. And then AI is taking that transcript and turning it into gold content. But I'm still spending that hour to interview that expert. It's a balance, and you really want human in the loop at all times. All right, so let's talk about how to future-proof your AI strategy. The last lesson in our AI comms course. Hit the button. I'll see you in the next lesson.